Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video I'm going to be going over Gold Mythic Eva and my ideas on how to build this character when it comes to her skills upgrades, her combat mods, her weapon, and also showing you some gameplay of her being quite maxed out. If you want to see a breakdown of how her skills work, and me saying how good I think this character is, you can check out my preview video of this character. You should see a link in the top right hand corner, but this is just mainly showing her at a higher level. 660 base levels plus 645 lieutenant levels. You can see her level right now is 1305. I could get 20 more levels on this character, but I would have to use my resources, and it's up to you whether you want to do that. Now, obviously, the top level resources are a bit more harder to come by, and you have to decide, is this character worth it? Well, let's see if she is. Now, when it comes to her skills, you can see she doesn't need any upgrades on her rush. She doesn't need any upgrades on her signature move. As long as you have, you know, the grade of the character, you're going to unlock those automatically. It's the mythic abilities that do require, you know, certain upgrades. And I think pretty much all of these are worthwhile upgrading. The 100% daze is nice. It does mean that she's not going to need any AP on attack on her weapon. The increase the basic attack damage from agility will work with her signature move, so it's definitely worth upgrading agility 1 and agility 2. Predator's good too because it gives her a boost to that first turn signature move again, and then stealing advantage is nice. I think that's probably the only one that may not be worth fully upgrading. Like if you're really short on military supplies, stealing the advantage is just more of a bonus to be able to steal someone's buff. The rest actually fully amplifies her damage on the first turn, so it's definitely worth doing. As you can see, I haven't upgraded Predator 2. I'm just going to go with Predator 1 for the moment. I would have to invest my military supplies, and this is just to give you an idea. Like if I was a little bit shorter on military supplies, this is the kind of power that she's going to bring to the table. But she's going to be able to do a little bit more damage than what you're going to be seeing here, just based on the base levels, just based on the limit break 2 here. Now, if you've checked out her kit, you know that she pretty much just needs attack stat. You want to get that attack stat up as high as possible because everything's going to amplify that stat. And that's basically how it's going to work when it comes to her weapon, attack stat boost, leader attack stat boost, and then you want to get as much attack stat and multipliers in on her combat mods here as well. As you can see, when she is level 1305, she has got 26,282 attack, so quite nice high attack stat. And what we're going to do is we're going to limit this to just attack mods, and then we're going to go for a nice attack versus. I think I've got a pretty decent one here. I've got a 24.5, and then we're also going to go with attack versus particular traits, and I've got a reasonable 46.5%. I like 50% plus to say good. You know, if it's 50% plus, I say good, but it's okay, that's reasonable. And then we're going to go in the bottom right hand corner. Now this is where you want to particularly go for things that are like anti-meta. So for instance, you could go with bleed resist. That could be a good call, and I'll just put that in there for the moment. She does not ever need daze resist. Even if you've got a really good one like 71%, she's got 100% daze resist on her kit. So never go for daze resist, but something like main resist could also be good if you're coming up against characters like the governor. It means she can pretty much avoid all of the potential damage that he can do on his way out. You know, when he goes into outlast mode, she can pretty much avoid all of that. So for the last 2 mod slots, this is where things get a little bit different on Eva here. Because she's guaranteed to crit, in the bottom left hand corner, I probably would go with crit multiplier because her signature move is guaranteed to crit. This is going to amplify that damage, which is nice. But because she's guaranteed to crit, she doesn't need a crit bonus in the wildcard slot. She doesn't need any crit additions at all. You could make her a bit more tanky and go with HP mod because, as you can see, she has got pretty high base HP, and that would counter potential bleed on defense teams, which can't get as high as it is on attack teams. And because she can steal buffs, she could potentially like steal someone's heal or something anyway and get that HP back up. Or you could have a healer of sorts on your attack team. Or you could go with another attack versus mod, especially if you know which teams you're building Eva to go in against. For instance, if you're going in against a Tara team, for instance, if you're building her to go in against a Tara team, the attack versus fast mod in the top right hand corner is great. So attack versus tough would also work really well on her. It's pretty much up to you where you want to go. So that's what I'm going to do. I do not have an attack versus tough on set though. I don't have it on attack set, so I'm not going to get as big an attack boost because of this. but it is worthwhile sticking in platinum sometimes, depending on the percentage you can actually get with your platinum mods, if that mod is actually a reasonable percentage. If you're dropping down into like the 30s or, you know, really low, sometimes it's just better to go with gold. As much as you may lose maybe a couple of percentage bonus, you're going to get a higher percentage boost on the actual set bonus, so you can sort of like base it off of that. So now you can see on the left hand side, she's nearly got 37,000 base attack. This is without her weapon and without her leader skill coming in from the leader, and also without any 1535 weapons next to her. Okay, so if we put her in a team, you can see she gets 46,000 damage, and this is because of her base weapon. But I'm going to give her a nice rampage weapon like this in her hands, and that's going to give her a big boost up to 50% attack, but she does not need that second slot. And here it's basically up to you what you want to do. You could do HP or defense. Crit's not going to make much difference, because the thing that she does all the time, which is going to be her signature move when she can't rush, is got a guaranteed crit on it. So I wouldn't put crit in the second slot. So you maybe want to put something in there that's going to keep her a bit more alive. The double attack rampage is going to work with that first turn signature move, so definitely worth it. But you could go with a different combo if you so wish. You could go for the bonus damage in the third slot based on the enemy's HP. That will work, as well as the passive that does the same, so you could really boost the attack. But I think rampage is almost definitely the way to go. However, you could potentially go the way of main damage. There could be a way that you could get the main damage in, because that's a guaranteed main with the crit damage on the signature move. There's a couple of ways you can go, but you do not need AP on attack. I don't have a weapon that doesn't have AP on attack. This is a very odd situation. We don't have any characters like this in the past, but this is the weapon I would go and put in her hands. But you mainly want to get that main attack stat up as high as possible on the weapon in her hands, regardless of what else you want to put on it. So now she gets boosted up to just over 50,000 attack. And now we're going to add a leader and an adjacent character with 1535s as well. And as you can see, her attack then gets boosted up to just over 77,000. These 1535 weapons in Team Player 4 are great just to amplify a particular damage dealer's, you know, attack stat. We're also going to put a strong attacks weapon in this team, and we're going to have 3 strong characters, so just giving us more potential damage output, because there's going to have 30% attack buff off the first turn for that first turn signature move. And the characters we're going to go for here are more support characters. We're going to go with Rick 2000 and Wayland. I have got quite a lot of bleed resist mods on this team, but we have got Lydia just in case with the cleanse off of turn 1 as well. That the matchup seems to be pretty decent here, and of course Lydia is a headhunter as well, so she has a chance to decap someone. And if she doesn't do it, if she doesn't get that final big hit, well, I think that someone like Eva can just follow up and finish a character off pretty easily. Okay, so we're going to come up against a Zeke defense team here, and there's a lot of fast characters, which plays into my mod setup. Now, one thing to mention is obviously when it comes to characters like Ezekiel, who does attack down on their turn, I'm going to be able to get ahead of that with Eva, because I am going to be able to get off a lot of her damage straight away. As we can see, her damage is going to come out before that can get off. And if I command, I can do the same, potentially take down 2 characters, and we're going to be able to take down 2 very important characters here, and maybe take down another, and maybe take down another, and we're doing pretty reasonable damage. Now, there is some bleed on my team, because I have got 5, yes, 5 bleed resists on my team, but none of them actually happened. But that's why Rick 2000 is so good, because of his cheeky revive there. And we are going to be able to finish this team off, fortunately. Okay, so we're going to come up against a new defense team. This one has a couple of alert characters in it. And it is worth noting, again, I've only resisted 1 this time on the mods, unfortunately. We're going to try and get in some damage here. And it doesn't look like there's anyone that I particularly need to decap, which is good. But you can see the first turn. This is the first turn. I can potentially take out an entire defense team almost by myself. Now I'm going to have to deal with the main damage, which I nearly do, but that is actually pretty decent. So this time we're going to come up against a Mercer defense team. I did talk about this in my review in terms of her being able to just completely wipe the floor with teams like this. Any offensive-based teams where it's like Negan leader, Mercer leader, those sort of things, you can come in with like some support S-class characters just to like normalize characters when you need to, and she's going to destroy this team because of the waste knot. Unless she gets controlled by Impair or something, but even then, she should be absolutely fine, and she's going to be able to do it off turn 1. That's amazing. So this is Gold Mythic Eva, my ideas on how to build her, some gameplay as well. I just thought I'd get this out because I think she's a pretty interesting character, and when there's attacking characters, I can make these videos a little bit easier. Do give me your thoughts on Eva. How would you mod her differently to what I said? Is there a particular team which you'd like to use her against? I think she'd be really good against like Pamela defense teams. I think she'd be pretty good against Pamela defense teams and any future heavy alert based teams, which I think is going to happen at some point. We're going to get around to the alert characters, but even if she's not coming up against alert characters, if you just do the mod versus, you know, fast like I did, she just destroyed that team. Absolutely destroyed those fast characters. No problem at all. Very, very high nuke damage. You just gotta be careful. I think it's a big bonus the fact that she is guaranteed crits. That means that mod slot in the center you can go for like HP just to keep her up a little bit better. But that is the end of my video. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.